Hi, I'm Craig Grant and this is Cobweb Maths. This video is actually inspired by Logan's comments about the road to the 3-step lesson plan. I don't think I would have done this otherwise. There's some stuff missing from the road to the 3-step lesson plan, which I'll cover, and I'll also tell you a story which goes beyond creative visualization. Now, what was missing was this action research statement. I wasn't able to find it. I found it last night. I'll go through it with you. If every lesson becomes an investigation into the factors affecting learning and teaching, and the findings are used in the next day's instruction, then teachers cannot help but develop a greater mastery of the art of teaching. And that's the crux of action research. Now, it's very, very powerful. Now you'll notice I've underlined this in red. This is so I won't forget. And I've got IA, which means instant action. Once you've done this, you can get to the stage where you can do it instantly in the classroom. You evaluate all the factors. You're doing this on the spot, right? Using feedback. Now, you're using your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is very, very powerful. It's got a lot of capacity and it's as fast as lightning. The conscious mind is much slower and has much less capacity. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I didn't put in a creative visualization study. Now, I remember reading this, and that's why I got into using creative visualization in teaching. Now, there was a study with some basketballers and they got some layup instruction, right? And then they were divided into two groups. One group went into a darkened room and they did creative visualization. They visualized doing layups. The other group went out on the basketball court and they practiced. And then they checked both groups for improvement. The creative visualization students increased their, on an average, 18%. They were 18% better in their layups. And the ones out on the basketball court were 20% better than their average. Now, basically, in my life, I've actually, when I deal with situations, I use creative visualization quite a lot. And what I will do is, I'll look at situations that I may get into, or there's a bit of a problem, and I'll run through all the scenarios in my head before I deal with the situation. And I found this really good, so I'm used to doing it. Now, with teaching, I ran movies in my head. Right, and I was practicing my teaching by doing that, and when it didn't seem to go right, I'd make script changes. I'd change the script, rerun the movie and everything, and when I got it right, I'd leave it and try it the next day. Right, let's flip over now. Now, before I tell you the story, I'd just like to make some points. Now, the latest findings in quantum physics have changed the perception of our world. What's actually happening is science doesn't give us the answers for what's happening in quantum physics. And in actual fact, they're finding the answers in religious teachings, especially from the past. Now, when I put my notes, I'll put a pair of eyes there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on this: the past, the present, and the future exist together at the same time. That's one of the findings that come out of this quantum physics stuff, and that's quite amazing. It's mind-blowing. The fact that everything is connected is not, as far as I'm concerned. That's why I call my site the cobweb, right? The connections, the cobweb. Cobweb connects things. Now, what I'm going to do is take this idea of creative visualization, link it to the future, the present, and fishing. See, there's another pair of eyes there. And I'm going to tell you an unbelievable but true story. Then I'm going to flip up some questions. All right? I'll put that down. And I shall sit down and I shall begin. Well, I used to teach at schools, at secondary school, and teaching's hard and tough, and your energy banks get low at times, and I would go fishing. And sometimes I'd go night fishing, fly fishing. I'd be fishing for trout. Sometimes I'd be out to 1 o'clock in the morning, and I wouldn't get as much sleep as I probably needed, but my energy banks just filled them back up again, and I must have slept better, but it just energized me. Now sometimes I just wanted to go out for an hour and catch a fish. Now I had all these hot spots I knew on different rivers and streams and everything. So what I would do is I would just sit down, I just close my eyes like this, and then I would think, and I would go through my hot spots one at a time. And sometimes a very strange thing would happen. I would see myself in a particular hot spot and I'd be catching a fish. And you know what I would do? Get out of my car, drive the spot, make the walk, get to the hot spot. And it's at night fishing with a fly rod. Cast out, within 3 or 4 casts, every time I hooked a fish, I landed it, and I went home. All right? Now, made me think. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, we're too low. I have to put the file box to get the right height. Get the right height now. Okay, will be the right height. Should be centered. Right, let's go through it. Is the future a choice for a start? I mean, I have to choose to go out and catch the fish, or the fish doesn't get caught. And then I wondered, do I summon fish? Just by thinking about catching a fish there, do I somehow summon a fish to that point and do it? And I wondered about, ancient Indian customs and things like that. Were they able to do that sort of thing? And I wondered to myself, is it intuition? If it is, then what's intuition? And I'm playing around with the idea that the subconscious mind is more powerful than we can imagine, because I'm aware that I'm using the power of my subconscious mind. By the way, here. Or is it a case of the future and the present existing at the same time? And then I've got another idle thought. It's like this. Believe in heaven or hell, maybe, I'm a little bit sceptical about hell. But anyway, if you believe in heaven and hell, what's heaven? That's where God is. What's hell? That's where God isn't. And perhaps if you believe in God, you end up in heaven where God is. And perhaps if you don't believe in God, you end up in hell where God isn't. And I've just glanced back at my board and I missed something again. Alright? I'll put the other board up. I went straight from there down to there. I forgot the stuff in red. We're not observers. We participate, and our beliefs change the world we live in. Alright? So I'll sit down again. There is a lot of stuff to think about, but I know this for sure. My beliefs change the world that I live in. And you can change the world you live in by changing your beliefs. However, it's very hard to change beliefs. You've either got to have a miracle or you have to do it logically. I'll leave you with that thought. And we're done.